Welcome to the Collective Genius Podcast, the show for real estate investors who are looking to scale.
Welcome into the live Collective Genius Podcast. I'm Leon Barnes, your host. Day 2 here, CG Select and CG Elevate in Sarasota, Florida. It's a little warmer today in Sarasota, which is really nice and keeping the temperature hot here. One of our newest members, this is her second meeting here at the Collective Genius. I chased you for a very, very long time.
I made you work
and
for it.
Eventually you came around, which I was like, there's no way she's not joining this organization one day, and finally got her. Welcome to the show, Miss Jessie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time to get you here. I know after your first meeting, your head was spinning, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
I'd love for the audience to get your perspective on being a newer member. This is your second meeting. Maybe things will slow down a little bit. I'm sure you got a bunch of ideas, but before we get into all of that, can you just tell the audience where you operate out of in your, we were having this argument earlier, is it niche or niche? And I said it's niche because there's no riches in the niches. There's riches in the niches, right? Well, we agree on that.
Totally agree.
Totally agree on that one. So where you operate out of and what you focus on from a real estate investor perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am operating out of Columbus, Ohio. I live there, I buy locally, and my main exit strategy is Burr. I have been doing that for really 5 years, last 5 years, and it was the thing that I really believe is like the key to wealth. So I came to my last meeting and everyone's like, don't buy rentals first, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, I bought all my rentals first, and it has worked out long term, so it's something I'm happy with, but I have seen a lot of different perspectives from people, but yeah, so mostly buy and hold. I have done some direct to seller over the years, really from 2018 to 2022. I was wholesaling, I was buying a lot of my own deals, I was flipping, and then rates changed, the hedge funds stopped buying, so one of my buyers tried out, and I told myself that I was going to take a 12-month break. That was 3 years ago.
Yes, exactly right. So Collective Genius has been kind of my catalyst in getting back into that direct to seller. Yeah.
You also do some coaching as well. You have a lot of students are they nationwide or are they just mostly regional?
Yeah, so we have about 200 students nationwide and attract a lot of folks who want to invest in the Midwest. So, maybe from the coast or the southeast and Florida, a lot of investors from Florida where the numbers don't quite make sense, but they have the capital, they have the desire, so they are moving their money to the Midwest. Yeah, familiar with that model. So the coaching that you're doing is you're helping them play, so it's almost like turnkey coaching. So our whole philosophy is teach a man, woman to fish. I am not going to hand you everything because I'm trying to create, just like you guys are, competent, whole, well-rounded real estate investors. Sure. And so the concept is teach a man to fish. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a couple different reasons why I wanted to have you on the pod. One, to get a newer member perspective, but also what you mentioned earlier. Almost everyone in the Collective Genius holds at some level. Yeah. It's generally not at this select and elevate levels, generally not their number one strategy, because it's really hard, and I'd love to get your perspective on this. It's really hard for people to have active income when Burr strategy or holding assets as their number one strategy. So how are you able to do that in a super competitive market in Columbus? Columbus is one of the markets over my last 7 years in this spot. It's one of the markets I've received the most applications from.
I believe it.
Phoenix is there, Atlanta, Columbus. We receive a ton of applicants from those markets. So you're obviously in a very competitive market. How are you able to use the Burr strategy and also, keep things afloat from a cash strategy standpoint?
Yeah, so buy and hold real estate is wealth building. I think we all know that cash flow is not the reason that you buy long-term single-family houses.
Well, let's make sure they all know that.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't know, I like to say that cash flow is the icing on the cake. Like if you get it, that's fantastic. But if you don't, which, maybe you're making like 10% is a great profit if, in that industry. So there are, it's the wealth. It's the wealth building. And that is what, I'll say in the last 5 years, we've built about $3 million in equity just using the Burr
Very
method.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
In a
right.
Midwest market, that's a lot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And I'm really happy with what we've done. But like you said, it's not an active income. So, I coach as an active income.
That helps. Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly right. And I dedicate a lot of time to it. It's something that it's not a side hustle by any means. It is a passion of mine. And so the coaching is really kind of the active, and then you pair that with the long-term passive of rentals that they work really well together.
I'm thinking about, I'm laughing in my head as you say passive, because I think I'm currently replacing like 22 roofs on properties that are passive in Kansas of my rental portfolio. When you first came to the Collective Genius and when we were first talking, one of the things I loved about your application is you were like, I'm a fun person. I want to be around fun people that inspire me.
Yeah.
So you were looking for inspiration. What specifically? Do you remember?
Ooh. So like I said, really a big focus of mine joining was to get back into direct to seller marketing. I will say, I've been in about 6 months now and just honestly haven't made a whole ton of progress, but I have learned a lot of things that I don't want to do. And I have really kind of like internalized a lot of the best practices from the community and from the presenters that this is the meeting. After this meeting, we're putting a bunch of stuff in place. And so this last 6 months was kind of like prep work. It is a mental game to get into direct to seller. And I did it for a long time and I know what it takes. So I've been kind of like preparing myself to get to it.
Gearing up mentally.
Yeah, gearing up mentally and kind of like, coaching my team a little bit on how things may be shifting and all that. So after this meeting, it's happening. It's starting.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
How does watching Andrew's presentation yesterday, his member journey, even JT's presentation, they give a lot of numbers specific to marketing, what they were making off of specific channels. I know JT's presentation said we made X amount off of direct mail. We made X amount on PPC. And then Andrew was like, year one, I was spending this on marketing. Year two, how do those help as you're watching those presentations in your 6 months and you're gearing up mentally? What did you take away from those type of presentations, specific marketing spends and returns?
Yeah, so it's really, really helpful because like I said, I've been out of it for the last 3 years and I was in direct to seller back when cold calling and texting, we had lead Sherpa and we were just blasting people and you can't do that anymore. And so seeing what's working and kind of the numbers behind it has been really helpful because I am not going to be guessing, right? I'm starting again with proven strategies of kind of what works and what's working today.
What has been your takeaway on the things that if you're going to get back into this at a high level, what are the 1 or 2 channels that you feel like I got to do well at these?
So direct mail comes up a lot. I did really well in PPC back in the day. So that is one that I would start again, that I will start again. I think the biggest thing though that I've learned honestly is that I am not the executor on this and that I need to hire that role up front. I need really an operations person because I am coaching and we self-manage the portfolio in-house. So, I have someone who helps with that, but I have a kind of person right below me in each of my businesses. And
I need that for marketing.
I need it. I have to have it. And so that's been my biggest takeaway is like, I can pretend I'm going to do this myself like I've been doing the last 6 months, but I'm not.
So I think your biggest takeaway from yesterday then would be from Candy's presentation. Do you remember what she said, her number one, 0 to 1, if she were leaving, her gold standard for marketing, if she were a member that didn't have the things from a marketing perspective, she said the 1 out of the 10 she would do is hire a specialist, a person that only handles marketing.
Yep.
So, if we're leaving here today, that should be your number one takeaway from this meeting, right?
Well, it should be. But
Well, I just gave it to you.
No.
You're welcome.
No, that is definitely one. I don't know that, because I'm not going to be on the scale they are. That's not my goal. I'm looking for kind of a lifestyle business. not going to have 40 sales reps,
Sure,
anything like that.
sure.
So maybe someone who can oversee the marketing as well as some more of the sales KPIs and just the operations in general.
Yeah, someone that likes spreadsheets.
Correct. And I like spreadsheets, but I like checking them.
Right.
And I like building them.
Right.
But man, I hate filling them out.
Sure.
So I need someone to fill them out for
You
me.
need a little bit of a data nerd.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a data nerd.
Yeah.
Everyone needs one. I mean, in the 80s and 90s when I was growing up, if you were called a nerd, that was not a good thing.
Oh, it's cool now.
Now it's cool
Yeah.
because most of those nerds are billionaires.
Yeah.
All the guys that we would have made fun of back then, the Bill Gates of the world, who's older than me, obviously, but those were all nerds that are now doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And most of them don't look like nerds anymore,
Right.
like Bezos and a few other those guys. All right, so let's finish on this. Your first meeting this is January. Your first meeting was October.
Yes.
What were your first initial thoughts in walking into that room?
Oh man, there's a lot of people. There were a lot more people here than I expected just from the calls, because the way the calls are structured, it's like topic based, right? So you don't see everyone in the same room. And so there were a lot more people than I thought that there would be. And I mean, I'm just going to say it. You guys need more females.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So,
That's
very.
what we're working on.
We're
That's
working on it.
One of the reasons you're right here right now.
Yeah. And so I can talk to anyone. I don't really get nervous in that situation necessarily. But, I kind of took a step back and was like, okay, how do I figure out in this whole room of people who are the ones that I need to speak with? You can't introduce yourself to every person.
Especially first meeting.
Especially the first meeting. Exactly right. So Mercedes was really helpful with that and connecting, and the facilitators connecting, with who may be good in a topic, what you're looking for. And so I made a couple good connections that I've stayed in touch with. This meeting, I feel like I'm not the new kid at school. And just a lot more confident. You've met people in the first meeting, so you're building upon that versus starting kind of from scratch. So that's been really nice.
I think I'm a big believer that representation matters. And in our room, in the 11 years that I've been associated with the Collective Genius, there's always been great female real estate investors, whether they're a partner, more partners than individuals. And I'm a firm believer that there are plenty out there. Now, obviously, the percentage of women that own real estate investing businesses is a lot smaller than males, right? But I truly believe that in order to attract, great female investors, you have to have them in the room and show representation. And I think we're the percentage-wise, we're the highest we've had in female representation in this room and our premier level rooms as well than we've ever been. It's something that's important to me. It's obviously something that's important to our team, women's lunches that we're doing. That matters to us as an organization, is to be as diversified as we possibly can. But I will say the best way, I've had this conversation many a times on a Steve Trang podcast or RJ Bates and other guys, and just saying simply, in order for women to know these things are available to them, you have to be able to have women that step up in the forefront and are voices in this industry. One of the biggest reasons I wanted to have you on this, because I know that you're a coach, people know you, and for them to see you in a room of, basically 150 guys and
So many
50
men.
and 50 women at best, they know it's okay to be in that room. It's highest and best regardless of your gender. It's highest and best that we want in the room. And so obviously it's never going to be just a gender play, but it's really cool when we have females that are doing this business at a high level and teaching other people in this industry. It's really cool to have them in the room, because your second event, now there's a lady in that room, I guarantee you, that's her first meeting. Having and being able to have a conversation with you is important, and it matters.
Yeah, and I've been trying to reach out and introduce myself.
Good.
And,
Good. So if somebody were on the fence, you and I talked for a long time, and I know you were in a transitional period of, do I take 12 months off? What do I do? Do I go back direct to seller? So I know that now, looking back, I know that was a lot of the hesitation. If somebody is listening to this right now and they were, on the fence and, I'm going to do it at some point, that's what we get a lot of. At some point, I'm going to do this. What would you say to them?
Ooh, I mean, I would say at some point you just have to put some trust in yourself and your decision-making abilities, right? Because I second guessed and I talked to quite a few people and I had some really good, like you said, there's a lot of Columbus investors here in Collective Genius. So I reached out to some of my peers who I knew were members and they were really, really helpful, kind of giving the like really nitty gritty on what it is. And so I would say, do your research, but also trust your judgment and trust your instinct. And if you get a good feeling, I mean, it's 12 months of your life. Like you'll be fine.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't work out, that's fine. Not everything in life works out. But even if you got 2 to 3 strategies in your business, the year pays for itself.
And relationships that will be lifelong.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that you get 1 to 3. If you do it right and you actually engage, you show up, and you play full out as much as you possibly can, you'll walk away with some great relationships.
Yeah, there's some cool people here.
Very much so.
We
Very
were
much so.
giggling at our tables yesterday.
Yeah?
Like, just getting in trouble. And yeah, we were having fun.
I'm glad I wasn't facilitating that.
Yeah. We kept it professional.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Having fun, though.
Yeah.
I like that. Last question. We just entered a new year. I'm not a big resolutions person. I just believe that, I set goals and I work hard towards those. And at the beginning of the year, every year, that doesn't change, my outlook. But there are things that I get excited about conquering in the new year. So for you, what are you most excited about doing in 2026?
Ooh. Okay. So I am doing, my big focus this year is restructuring a lot of the portfolio.
Okay.
Where, like I said, we have a lot of equity that is fantastic. It's wealth.
Untapped.
But untapped. It's not really creating cash flow, income, so that is a big focus on maybe selling off some of our lower performers and using that to pay down some mortgages, to do some private lending, to buy some more flips, some more active income. My financial planner, we had a meeting at the end of last year and I was getting really down and hard on myself about, some like little details. And I, like many entrepreneurs, can be very hard on myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be in this room if you weren't.
Yeah. I have high expectations, all this. And he told me, he was like, you need to zoom out, girl. And it stuck with me. And so my wife and I, that's our theme for the year is zoom out, girl.
Awesome.
And so we're really kind of like trying to look at the bigger picture this year and put the right people in place and not be so focused on every freaking little detail and letting other people and systems and processes like do their thing.
You got to be you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to take some time to sit back and reflect of where you are as an investor, the portfolio that you've built, the equity that you've built. These are game-changing, life-altering things that you've done over the last, how long have you built that portfolio?
I mean, we seriously started buying with the Burr method in 2021. So 5 years.
Yes, you zoom out, girl.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously.
I know, it's my theme this year.
That is, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
really cool. I remember when you applied and I saw your rentals and I was like, how old is this young lady? Like, my goodness.
I'm older than I look, but thank
you. You're doing great things. If people, obviously you got a coaching program and you help people that are looking to buy in the Midwest, we have a lot, I'm in Kansas, so I totally understand. We have a lot of out-of-town buyers, especially California.
Oh, yeah.
Places where they can't get cap rates like we can get in the Midwest. If people want to reach out to you, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, just Jessie Lang, Facebook Jessie Lang, or Instagram Jessie Lang Official.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate you being
Yeah.
on. You did great. You said you were nervous. If this is nervous, my goodness, I'd hate to see you like calm. You did great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for being on the
Yeah,
show. Thank you. I look forward to seeing your head spin a little bit more upstairs.
Okay.
And then tomorrow, make sure that you force rank everything and go make things happen when you get back.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Well, if you'd love to be in the room with members like Jessie, obviously, I wanted to have Jessie on for a couple different reasons, but the main thing is that she's one of our newer members and get that new member perspective. She's a new member here at CG Select, but the way that she operates, she's somebody that you can tell that holds herself accountable, is hard on herself, zoom out girl, holds herself accountable, And it's just whether she is scaling to continue to grow into other tiers of CG, that doesn't matter. She's scaling for what her business model is, and that's the biggest thing I wanted to point out. When you're applying to this organization, you can find that application at explorecg.com. Is these tiers aren't built for you just to say, hey, I want to get to the next level. It's to help you maximize where you are today. And if that includes you going to the next level, great. We'd love to make that happen. But there are so many select members. I can think of one right now that's been with us for 5 years. And he's like, I don't need that. I like to just maximize and continue to grow, but I don't necessarily need to be in that next level. So if you're one of those people that whether you want to grow, where you are today and maybe not necessarily into the premier and the CEO groups of $10 million, but you just want to be as efficient as you possibly can and be as rich and wealthy as you possibly can, then we've got a tier for you. You can find that at explorecg.com. We look forward to talking to you on the other side. We also look forward, we have a few more podcasts for today. Those will be live coming up here real soon. So we'll catch you on the next live Collective Genius podcast.